Okay, so let's move on to question E. Sophia and Tama's grandmother is a maths teacher. She bought both of them some fidget spinners, but they have to solve a maths problem before she will give the fidget spinners to them. Tama thinks that because he is older, he should get more fidget spinners than Sophia. So because we've got the word more, we know we're going to be writing an inequality. Okay, they are told that the number of fidget spinners they each will get relates to the number n. Their grandmother says the number of fidget spinners that Sophia will get is this number n cubed plus 3 times this number, which can be written as n cubed plus 3n or n bracket n squared plus 3. Okay, so Sophia gets n cubed plus 3n, which can also be written as n bracket n squared plus 3. Okay, Tama will get the number n, so Tama gets the number n squared times 2, so 2n squared plus 6 times the number n. Okay, what value could n have so that Tama gets more fidget spinners than Sophia? So this must be bigger than this. Okay, so let's write that out. 2n squared plus 6n must be bigger than n bracket n squared plus 3. Okay, so we've got an equation here, or rather an inequation that we need to solve, but it's got a cubic in, and at level 1 we don't solve cubics, so we need to see if we can get rid of this and turn it into a quadratic. Well, there's an n outside here, so if we could get an n outside on this side, we could cancel them. So let's see, oh, both terms have got an n in, so let's take that n outside. N brackets 2n plus 6 is greater than n bracket n squared plus 3. Okay, that's cool, because now if I can just divide both sides by n, I've now turned it into a quadratic. Awesome. So I've got 2n plus 6 is greater than n squared plus 3. Okay, so quadratic inequations we solve in the same way as quadratic equations. We need to make them equal to 0. I'm going to move both of these two over to this side because that will leave my n squared as positive, not negative, which makes life a little bit easier. So 0 is greater than n squared plus 3 minus 2n minus 6. And let's simplify that. 0 is greater than n squared. I'm going to put it in the order we like. ax squared plus bx plus c. I'm going to move my minus 2n next. I'm just rearranging it. Plus 3 minus 6 is minus 3. Okay, so I've got a quadratic inequation here. How do we solve quadratic inequations? Okay, sorry, there we go. Okay, how do we solve quadratic inequations? Well, I'm just going to move you down a little bit. Okay, so with a quadratic inequation, we know that it looks like this, and we're either looking for this bit, or we could be looking for this bit and this bit. But first of all, we need to find these 2 points here. In order to do that, we don't treat it as an inequation, we treat it as an equation, and just say that 0 equals n squared minus 2n minus 3. Okay, now we can just factorise this and find out what these 2 points are. So, what two numbers multiply to minus 3, add to minus 2, that would be minus 3 and 1. Okay, so 0 equals brackets x minus 3 and x plus 1. Okay, that will multiply to minus 3, add to minus 2. Perfect. Okay, so I know that either x minus 3 equals 0 or x plus 1 equals 0. So x equals 3 or x equals -1. So I know that this point here, if we go back to our diagram, that point there is 3, that point there is -1. Okay, so now I've got to see which bit gives Tama getting more than Sophia. Let's just pick a point in the middle. Let's pick this point here that would be 1. So let's put 1 into our equation. Let's go here. 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. 1 squared is 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is minus 3, so equals -6. So that is less than 0. So I know that I want this bit here. So I know that n must be bigger than -1, but must be smaller than 3. Okay, there's my answer. However, this question had context, so we really should just check, do all of these numbers work in the context? So, is it possible for Sophia to get -1? Well, we know that n has to be bigger than -1, so -1 doesn't work. So we can discount -1. So what about 0? Can she get 0 fidget spinners? Can n work? She gets n cubed, 0 cubed plus 3, that's 0. How many does Tama get? N squared is 0 times, that's 0 plus. So 0 doesn't work because that leads to Tama and Sophia getting the same number. So we know that -1 didn't work. We know that 0 didn't work. Okay. What about 1? Well, 1 cubed is 1 plus 3, that's 4. 1 squared times 2. So Tama's getting more fidget spinners, so that I know that 1 and 2 will both work, and we know that 3 didn't work because it must be less than 3. So n can be 1 or 2, and there is my final answer.